Kwa hivyo tumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu. Kama MC ameniingilia kidogo, wacha nisome hii yangu kidogo, kwa sababu sitaki kuwa misquoted or misrepresented. Nataka niseme yale ambaye yako katika roho yangu, na ndio tuweze tujipange na tujue kutoka hapa kwenda mbele ni barabara gani ambaye tutaelekea. Si ni hivyo? So therefore, party members and my fellow Kenyans, today marks almost 3 years, as the Secretary General has just informed us, since we last gathered here at this very same venue and held our last National Delegates Conference. This is through no fault of my own, but as a direct result of devious machinations by those who wanted to falsely and forcefully take over this party. As we meet today, I wish to take this very early opportunity to thank all those loyal party members, the many lawyers and Kenyans of goodwill who have ensured that once again we are able to meet and restart our journey forward again. Asanteni sana. Politics, as we have seen, is about many things. But one thing that cannot be overridden is that politics is first and foremost about the collective will of the people, exercised either by a party like we are here today, or by the citizens of a democratic nation through the ballot box. So it is my hope that from today we shall see the end of machinations and the start of a democratic process, because it is the people who will decide. Sio watu wachache kujifungia pahali ama watumwe na watu wengine, kwa sababu tunajua hata hawa ni kutumwa, walikuwa wametumwa. Wananchi, members wa chama ambao watachukua hatua na decision ya kutueleza mwelekeo wa chama mgani, sio watu wachache pahali kidogo huko. So 3 years ago, at the end of a hotly contested general election, and amid an atmosphere of hostility, not only to our party, but to myself, members of my family, and members of my administration. But despite that, I stood at this same venue, ready to begin a process that should have been normal in any mature democracy. A process of rejuvenating our party, and it with new leadership, a new crop of leaders inspired by a new generation who would craft our party's future as well as our shared vision for our country. After having handed over the reins of state to a new administration in a peaceful and orderly manner, as you all witnessed, I expected the same for our party. Unfortunately, this was not to be, for reasons as explained. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been in active politics for the greater part of my life, 40 years plus. I have seen its good, I have seen its bad, and even its ugly. But at every juncture, I always do my best in the spirit of service to my party, but most importantly, service to this country that I love. I have both lost elections and won elections, taking each in my stride, learning that in politics, you can never be led by bitterness, anger, or hate. That only deviates you from your mission and vision. Wale wanataka kuendelea na matusi, hiyo ni shauri yao. Sisi hatuna chuki na mtu, tunapenda nchi yetu. I have had my fair share of successes as well as challenges. But the truth of the matter is that none of this would have been possible if I myself, at an early age, had not been given the opportunity and support to take up various leadership positions in our country. As a party, under my administration, under my leadership, and courtesy of the Kenyan electorate, we have been a governing party for approximately 10 out of our country's 60-odd years of life since independence. Looking back, there are things we can be proud of, and admittedly, there are things that we could also have done better. As a party, we can say with pride that it was our administration that oversaw the implementation of a new constitutional order, and we did so within the stipulated timelines. Party, we can say that we left behind a more connected country than we found it. We doubled the number of tarred roads, increased electricity connections from 35% of our population that we found to over 70%. Our Linda Mama, the removal of maternity fees in health centers.
Want to become a certified project manager but aren't sure about the skills you need? The PMP certification prep course on Udemy is just the thing. Learn the basics of project management and get yourself ready for the PMP certification exam. With
We restored the sanctity of our exams. We maintained the free primary education that we inherited from President Kibaki. We expanded the free day secondary education and reduced the burden of healthcare for our parents with the introduction of EduAfia for our students. In security, despite initial challenges, we invested heavily in our infrastructure, security infrastructure. We restructured our security organs and deepened an interagency approach, thereby ensuring that our security agencies were better able to handle both domestic and external threats. This machine that we built, however, was not to be used and designed to face its own citizens, and it is not supposed to have been a source of fear and conflict with our citizens. Ilikuwa ya kulinda wananchi, sio kuumiza wananchi. We worked as a party to bring greater cohesion in our social construct, to reduce ethnic tensions and address both social and regional inequalities. This noble effort, unfortunately, was used against us in the last campaigns, it being called an attempt to erode democracy. I wonder what they call theirs today. I can go on and on, but that is for another time. Equally, my friends, it is true to say that we also face challenges, key among them being our war against corruption in government that was less than successful. Our intergovernmental relations also left much to be desired, a case in point being the uneasy relationship with the judiciary over the appointment of judges. To my mind, the framers of our Constitution intended the different arms of government will be simultaneously independent, but always interdependent, for the common good of our people and nation. It was never our intention to deny them their independence or to interfere with their operations. All of this and more, but as I have said, this is a story for another day. So therefore now, we need to ask ourselves, where are we and where do we want to go? Ladies and gentlemen, over the years as a leader, some things have become apparent and clear to me. That you succeed by looking at past successes, injecting new ideas, and improving upon them. And you fail by ignoring past mistakes and therefore falling folly of repeating the same. This, while always having an open mind and a listening ear, even to those you disagree with, and especially to the voices of our younger generations. For in a world that is ever evolving as fast as it is with such insights that it is then that such insights become crucial for true transformation to occur. A balance of all this is what makes a stable and pragmatic nation, one that is filled with hope and not despair, a nation at peace with itself, and one that is able to transit with ease from one generation to the next. In the last general election, I endeavored to pass this message. Unfortunately, it fell on deaf ears and was lost in the noise of insults, character assassinations, myths and stories of dynasties and hustlers, and so on. Today, many of the gains we had in the past have been eroded. Indamama and others replaced by new, untried, untested schemes. while we wait, for these experiments to work, Kenyans suffer and our progress is retarded. As we continue to dwell in rhetoric rather than in progress, we repeat the mistakes of the past. Indeed, today, some of the truths we spoke of yesterday have become the reality check of today, while some of the myths and falsehoods have become the nightmare that many are living. So again, why are we here today? Ladies and gentlemen, the past can inform us, but the present can shape the future. So the first thing, as our Secretary General has told us, our first mission today is to pass amendments to our party's constitution. Amendments to ensure that the machinations of the past shall never be used again to hold back our progress. Second, to seek your approval to reach our party and set in motion the process of injecting new blood into our party structures and hierarchy. Men and women, especially the young, and when I say the young, I'm not saying young in body, we also young in mind and spirit. Also want young in mind and spirit. Men and women of integrity who can be trusted with our future. Men and women who have the courage to fight for what is right and just. Men and women with the patience to listen to those whom they wish to lead. Men and women with compassion for their fellow citizens. Men and women of wisdom, not pride. Men and women who know as human beings they can make mistakes, but stand ready to correct them. I have watched quietly the ongoings of the recent past and greatly admired the tribeless, steadfast courage of today's generations. A generation that knows what it wants and is determined to achieve it, whatever the cost. It is my hope today that as some of us give way, that those same young ones, with the same energy, conviction, and patriotism that we saw in the streets, you will be able to use them to transform the structures of our party. And ultimately, you yourselves enter the corridors of power and high office and take charge of your own destiny. You know what you want. It is not for me to tell you. You know what you want. You have the energy to get it. And time is on your side. Musibaki nyuma. In the next few weeks, we shall be rolling out our recruitment strategy across the country. and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish, for the sake of clarity, to remind Kenyans that the Jubilee Party, as you well know, and for reasons that have just been given, has been largely silent for the last 2 years for those reasons. When we last convened a national delegate conference prior to the 2002 general elections,